Hello, welcome back. This is now my next video. This will be now the top 20 physical, most helpful units going on Dokkan Battle. We'll kick this off straight away. Coming in into the C tier, which are still useful, but not by any means less useful than some of the rest. We have Vegito Blue, Super Trunks, LR Buhan, and LR Trunks. Some of them might wonder why both of those, two of those in particular at C, but I'll tell you why. Starting with its LR Trunks. Real quick summary of him. He's got a great battlefield leader skill with 4 key 120% to stats. So he raises defense by 30% for 6 turns. Keep him on rotation. You will see that rise quite a bit. And he even has a powerful start of turn stats that's 150% to attack and 100% to defense. Kind of feel like that was a little bit short-changed on his defense. Could have at least been 120, 130. Don't know why it wasn't across the board. Maybe he would have been too strong. He does have a very good 3 key 50% attack versus extreme class allies, which is really, really good. You will find that's very common. That's not going to be a problem. So he also has just flat out 50% chance to crit. I mean, that alone is going to put him in C tier, just regardless of everything else he does. Some of the more weirder things he does, though, is the next part of his passive. If you're against a Wicked Bloodline enemy, you gain 5 key and guaranteed crits. That's a bit weird, considering that he has a 50-50 chance to crit. You're going to see that a lot of the time. If that was a guaranteed crit against any extreme class enemy, that would have made him far, far better, and you probably would have seen him in the B tier. But it's probably that alone that probably drops him down to C. It just doesn't make any sense. He does have strong links though. He does have Prepare for Battle, Shattering the Limit, and Shocking Speed, so he's going to work well on variety of teams. Always going to get those links, and he does have Cold Judgment. So with that Cold Judgment, that is a defensive buff, which you will find if you use them on the Hybrid Saints team on like the Ultimate Gohans, for example. Just that Ultimate Gohan just ain't going to go away anytime too soon. So now your next one is the Super Trunks after his Easy A. Now, I was debating whether putting the STR version onto the previous video, but I didn't because I could kind of cheat and put them both on this. So he's not as much, doesn't do as much as the STR version, but they're both more or less on the same lines. So Super Trunks, he raises attack and defense for 3 turns. That's a 30% raise. Keep him on rotation. You will see that. He has an insanely powerful 4 key and 200% to stats. That's basically about it. He's not slowed by STR types, but that's pretty much about it. His links go well with any Trunks, but again, he's very limited. But if you needed a tank, you needed a durable unit, he works very well. Works very well on a lot of his other teams. The Entrusted Will, he works very well on Hybrid, he works very well on Heavenly Events. All these smaller teams, he's going to be pretty good. Hybrid, he'll just fit in with the Trunkses. And he will also work pretty well on the Vegeta family team, although his best linking partner will be a Trunks. Very strong tank, but quite limited. Now, Vegito Blue. Now, his Easy A. Now, this one's going to be a bit of a bit of a stickler for a lot of people. Well, the reason being is he's very, very good, but it's all centered around him, and it's all centered after he does attacks, and it's all around how many super attacks he does. So his leader skill is good for new players, and it's all about the superclass. Superclass the stats, but it's only like 80-90%. He does greatly raise attack and defense per super attack. Now, the good thing is he launches 2 additional attacks. Each have a 70% chance of proccing. Actually, I believe how it works is the first one is guaranteed, the second one is 70%, and then from then on afterwards, it's the hidden potential system. So you could theoretically do triple super because each one of those attacks has a 30% chance. You add in with his hidden potential system, he's going to be jumping up from, I think he starts off at around 80k defense at Rainbow, and then he really jumps up to over 200k, and that's where you see him coming really, really well. And he also greatly raises the attack on his super attack, which is great for his crits. Is where this guy comes in. Now, another good thing that he has is he reduces normal damage by 40%, and that's actually up by 10 from his prior to his just regular form. His Easy A really did help bump that up. So that's the reason why he's only in C tier. It's all me, but he's still very, very good. You get him to do 3, maybe 4 super attacks, he's probably untouchable except for type disadvantage. And then you factor in you spec him for crits, realistically, you can really put out a lot of damage. But the reason why it's probably not in B is, again, it's down to chance. You got to get those super attacks and you got to get those crits. Now, The next one is LR Buhon. He has a very strong leader skill. That's margin power and power absorption. And that's 4 key, 130 to HP, 170 to attack and defense. So his super attack effects are a lot like AGL Freezer, where his 12 key stacks attack and his 18 key stacks his defense. Now, he has a strong 120% start of turn, very good for stacking defense. He would only need a couple of super attacks at his 18 key level to really come into play. Recovers 12% at the start of each turn. Now, that's actually really good alongside, as I've always said, amongst all the other margin boos. It's just going to work out really well with everything that they do is healing. So he has a 30% chance to launch an additional super flat outright. So I found that often to be quite a bit more. It's probably more like, honestly, it's probably more like 50-50. You can go for the 18 key, stack that defense, he gets that additional super, and you just stacked your attack. So there we go. So here now, what really helps him to get the 18 keys, he gets one key sphere extra per type key sphere. So AGL, Tech, Int, and SDR give 2, Physical give 3, Rainbow only still gives 1. Now, he does have big bad bosses, but it's only in his transformed state. Again, if he had big bad bosses in his Gotenks form, he probably would be in B. Now, when he transforms, though, he actually only gets 10% healing rather than 12. I don't know why that goes down. It's a bit of a weird one. But he does have a big 150% to stats, which is up by 30%. Now, his passive remains mostly unchanged, but for 5 turns, he gets 5 key and seals the attacked enemy for 5 turns, which is very, very useful. Very, very useful in Super Battle Road and Extreme Super Battle Road, where you can use him, where that seal can really, really just change the lot. Now, his active skill is not too bad to get. So, his active skill, let's see here. So, if you have more than 50% HP entering the 4th turn, he will transform. So that's pretty good. Now, 50% HP more than that, I'd say that's probably fair, given the fact that a lot of the boos can actually heal a lot. One of the units that is not on here, but was close to be on here, is the 50% extreme class support, because he also is a margin boo unit, who alongside they all would have just healed really well. But this is the reason why he's in C. So now, going into your B class, these are the people now who are still really good, a bit better, more surprising than you think. One of them is going to be extremely controversial, but that's just how it's going to go, and I can explain that. So, here we have now. So, we have Kale, Super Saiyan 2, transform into 3, Goku, LR Cell with his EZA just come out, I believe, the Goku, Xeno Goku, Goku Family Support, Super Saiyan 2 support, and the LR Bardock's EZA. Now, obviously, the most controversial one is the transforming Goku. I'll tell you why, though. But Kale first. So Kale has a good battlefield leader skill for 100% of stats. She does nothing special on a super attack effect, and she has 160% attack to 160% to attack, but no defense at the start of turn. That doesn't matter too much because she reduces damage by 60%. However, that's only for 6 turns. Past 6 turns, you need 6 physical orbs, physical exclusively, to retain the 60% damage from the 7th turn thereafter. Now, the damage reduction of 60% in some really, really tough content can be a bit of a question because there's no start of turn defense, so you need a little bit of support. Any little bit of support will actually make her really, really viable, but that's the only realistically the bad turnaround. She's insanely powerful, has a lot of attacking power, and extremely viable in Universe 6, and Exploding Rage. Might even be just one of the most powerful units on Universe 6 and Exploding Rage. But if you get past the 6 turns, you get those orbs for her, and she doesn't change them, by the way. You get those orbs, and you're still sitting pretty. So, your next one's LR Bardock. So he's really, really good after his EZA. It was so close to put him into A tier, but I just had to put him into B. Again, one of those really good battlefield leader skills, 4 key, 120% to stats. His 12 key greatly raises, that's a 50% raise. His 18 keys, a 30% raise, but he seals. There is a good 100% at the start of turn stats. He builds attack by 20% each turn, up to a max of 59%, so that's realistically 6 turns. So, on his 18 key, flat out 40% attack. Now, against one enemy, He just gains 6 ki, that is it, which really helps to seal that one enemy. Now you'll find that most helpful in the Team Bardock Super Battle Road, where the final end of the final stage is just Freezer, where against that one enemy and he's getting that 6 ki, you are easily able to get the 18 ki easy. Now, against 2 or more enemies, he gains 4 ki and 70% defense. That used to be, I believe, 60% defense. Now, he absolutely carries in low class warriors, Connected Hope, Team Bardock, and storied figures. Everywhere else, he doesn't realistically need to be on. But you will find him probably the MVP by far in low class and Team Bardock. And that's the reason why he alone is in B. Now, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. So he's the support. He's a really, really good support. So he greatly raises attack and defense for one turn. That's a 50% raise. He has 100% stats. Now, one of the best things he does is all allies 2 ki 35% attack and defense. Now, he has a 30% chance to crit and a 30% chance to dodge, starting from the super attack after every third super attack. So after he's done, so basically it's his fourth turn round. On his fourth attack, he has that. So he has to do 3 super attacks to actually trigger the 30% chance to crit and dodge, if that makes sense. So he's great on Goku Family, Hybrids, Kamehameha, Sibling Bonds, Super Saiyan 2, and Defenders of Justice, just purely because he gives everyone 2 ki 35%. And of course, he's really good on his own accord. Now, moving on real quick, we now have the LR Cell with his Easy A. So he's only just come out, and I believe everyone knows what he all does. So he now has a good Battlefield Leader skill, 4 ki, 120% stats. So he's 12 ki, recovers 12% health. He's 18 ki, greatly raises attack. He has a great 120% at start of turn to attack and defense. Where he really gets better, though, is now he gets 60% defense on super attack. And it's another 60% defense on his 18 ki. You factor that, so that's 100, so that's 120% at start of turn with another 120% on his 18 ki. And he's greatly raising that attack on his 18 ki. Now he's 12 ki, but I should bear in mind, while it does heal 12%, it is now an AoE. Well, actually, it always was an AoE, but it isn't an AoE. Now you will find that in Super Battle Road, that's not going to be the most helpful unless you're coming across 4 or 5 enemies. You're coming across where you've got the Team Bardock stage, or you're coming across where you've got the Freezer soldiers from the Resurrection F, and then yeah, you'll find that with the 5 of them, the AoE is going to work out real well. But prior to that, you just want to aim for the 18 ki. Now he against one enemy, 3 ki, but also one of the biggest things he's had is now he gets 1 ki and 30% attack per enemy remain. And again, Super Battle Road against 4 or 5 people, but also tournament. You factor in that in the tournament with his AoE, he can now really clear the field. So now we finally have a great partner for Int LR Cell. Not just the new AGL Cell, but now it's a standalone LR Cell. So he works really well as he's got Big Bad Bosses, Ultimate Life Form, and LR Power. Between the two of them, now the physical one is putting out up to 6 million attack stats. Mine, he has 1 dupe and he's putting out close to 6 million. I think I've clocked him at 5.8. Never mind those who haven't rainbowed. So now the next one is the Xeno Goku, the Goku Family Support. Probably the best Goku Family Support. And don't be surprised on the next video on the Int you find the Vegeta Family one just in the same spot. So he has a great leader skill for new players. There's 130% stats for the Goku Family team. He greatly raises attack and defense one turn. That's a 50% raise. Not only that, but where applicable, he has a 50-50 chance to stun. So he's a strong 120% at start of turn. That alone with his 50% raise makes him really, really good. He has 100% attack just alone with just another Goku Family member on the team. Always going to be hitting hard. And he gives 2 ki 40% stats to all the Goku Family. He was so close to being an A tier just on his own because he has a chance to stun. He has strong stats. And of course, he has Shattering the Limit and Prepared for Battle, and he's a great floater even in slot 3. But I just felt, just out of all the other candidates, he's going to have to be in B. Now, the one that's probably the most controversial is the brand new Super Saiyan 2 transforms to 3 Goku. Now, with all that he does, it was very easy to stick him in A, but again, of all the candidates I had to choose from, I just felt that he just had to be in B. He does have a brilliant leader skill, and that's Battle Fate and Accelerated Battle. So that's HP 130, attack and defense 170. So you're going to be a little on the squishy side. So he has 30% to stats on super, and he has 30% to stun on super. He has a powerful 2-key 180% to stats. So he has a 50% raise to stats as well on super attack. So he has a 30% plus a 180 start of turn plus a 50%. This guy, after one super attack, is going to be insane. He launches an additional attack, 30% chance to come as super. He has a 50% chance to crit flat out, much like LR Trunks. I mean, that alone would put him in A, but again, the people that are going to be in A, you'll see why. Now, when he transforms into Super Saiyan 3, it's actually really, really easy and really, really good. So on the third turn, with less than 77% health, that's actually much like the Vegito, but one turn earlier. So you have him in slot 1, he comes back, turn 1 slot, when you have him in turn 1, comes back around, boom, you can transform if you're under 77% health. That will be pretty easy. Now, he gets a little crazy, a little bit kooky when he gets into 3. So now, he greatly raises his attack and still only a 30% raise to his defense on his super attack, and still retains the 50-50. Still retains the 30% chance to stun, which is actually pretty good. So his passive now jumps up by 1 key and 20%. So that's now 3 key and 200% at the start of turn. And his passive also jumps from 1 additional attack to 2 additional attacks. So he launches 2 guaranteed additional attacks. Now each one of them also has a chance to become a super attack. So for the first 6 turns, he has a 50% attack. And he has a 50%, so he has a 50% attack and 70% chance to crit, for 6 turns. For the first 6 turns, 70% chance to crit. Now, on the 7th turn afterwards, he only gets a 50% chance to crit. So he's always probably going to be critting. So the first 6 turns, 70% and 50% attack. Afterwards, it's going to be just a 50% chance, just a high chance. Controversially, you could put this guy in always in the top tier, as in his Super Saiyan 2 or 3, just one super attack, and he's going to be clearing 250k defense, clearing 200k if you don't have any dupes. But with his Super Saiyan 3 form, he's just going to go crazy. But you'll see why now, as we enter the top 10, is the reason why I actually didn't put him in the A tier. So obviously with the pictures left, you can understand why every single one of these are now in here. And some of these, we all know exactly what they can do. And everyone's probably got a bunch of these. Some of these are free to play. In fact, I believe 3 of these are free to play. And what we got here is we have the Great Saiyaman 1 and 2 from the Friend Summon. We have the UI Goku from that story event. And we have the LR Roshi from the 6th anniversary, who also had an Easy A. All of these 3 in particular had Easy A's. All of these are probably these are the cream of the crop when it comes to the physical type units. All of these are insanely useful across across any of their categories, across any of the content. We'll start with Roshi. We'll only realistically start at his Easy A form, and he does a lot. Now he has a Turtle School category, that's 120%. Now there isn't many leads of them, so he's very, very useful just on that. So get this. So his 12 key actually has a 70% chance of stunning the enemy, and his 18 key, massive 628% attack, but guarantees a seal. So he really shines in any difficult content, and I've seen him out-tank a lot of the more premium LRs. So 70% chance to stun the enemy. Very easy to get that, especially on a Rep 7. But if you're going to go for it, you could even go for this guy for crits, for that big 18 key 628% attack raise, and go for the seal. Either of them are just as good, but it doesn't even stop there. He has 120% defense only at the start of turn, and he has a 30% chance of evading any attack. Turtle School category allies, 3 key, 40%. Now, Turtle School is basically anyone that's trained under him, so it's basically any Goku, any Krillin, even any Tien, well, some Tiens, and of course the Master Roshi himself. So it's basically just a Goku-specific category. And you think what caliber of Gokus there are with UI Gokus, and you've got the transforming Super Saiyan 2 to Super Saiyan 3 that we've just talked about. All of these, he makes him a really strong team. So he also has, now this is where one of the better ones that there is, because he also revives. So it's a bit more complicated than some of the rest. So you got to enter the turn with less than 50% HP, and you got to have 2 or more Turtle School category allies on the team. So enter the turn less than half health with 2 or more Gokus, basically. I believe it's 2 other, so there's another 2. So he himself doesn't proc that, so you got to have 2 more. Now, if you get knocked out in that turn, you'll revive with 60% HP. So that's under 50% start of turn, 2 more, what's essentially Gokus, and you get knocked out, you will revive. Now, he does have an active skill. His active skill massively raises the attack. Now, you think that's actually really good because, again, a lot like the 18 key where you go for crits, this guy is going to be putting out an incredible amount of damage. And of course, one of the best things he gives, all allies 7 key. 7 key. It's absolutely insane. Everyone's going to guarantee their 18 key held, even 24 key. Now, of course, you only need one other Turtle School category ally, and of course, you just need to be hit 7 times. Now, that can be a little bit tricky to do just on the touch side, as he does have that 30% chance to dodge. With this guy, he's absolutely probably one of the best free-to-play units. In fact, probably is the best free-to-play unit. No more on him. So the next one now is the other free-to-play unit. That's the LR Great Saiyaman 1 and 2 from the Friend Summon. Now, they were reasonable before the EZA, but now they're even better. So they have a good beginner's leader skill in many sense. That's super type allies, 3 key, 130% stats, but you've got to have all 5 types. That's not difficult. So now the super attack now raises attack and defense. So does the 18 key, but now the 12 key, well, the 12 key still now does seal, but now the 18 key raises the attack buff that they had. So prior to that, it was a 30% for 2 turns. It is now, it's still actually 30% for 2 turns, never mind, but he now still raises defense, he now still seals. He has 70% at the start of turn, which is pretty good. You have Superclass Allies 4 key, 50% defense. What did he have prior to that? Because he still did quite a fair bit. So prior to that, he had 4 key, 50% defense, and he lowered the enemy's defense by 70%. So he still did quite a lot even in there. And we just get back to this one. So he now has a 58% attack and launches an additional attack that has a 30% chance of becoming a super attack when you're attacking extreme class enemies. So not much added onto it here. As I say, prior to that, he was still actually useful, but he's still even better useful. He now raises defense on his super attack. He's really good on a lot of teams as well now that he has this extra defense, and he can actually have this extra attack against extreme class enemies, which you will see in Joint Forces, Movie Heroes, Special Pose, and Defenders of Justice. Those few in particular really, really need the help. No more in this. So, and what makes that, of course, even better is that's free to play. So your next one is Janemba. No shocker to that one. So this guy probably one of the best, if not the best defensive unit going. Now, some people might even say AGL Golden Freeze, and you know what? You could even be right. But Cody Body in Mind and Movie Bosses, 4 key and 150% of stats, fantastic leader skill. If you've got him, you are going to be sitting really, really strong for Extreme Super Battle Road or Super Battle Road, Corona Body in Mind and Movie Bosses, and of course on the Fighting Legend Vegeta event, there's a Corona Body in Mind mission, I believe as well on the GT Goku event as well. And this guy will be lynching that. He will be the linchpin. So his super attack effect doesn't really do much other than it just allows everyone just to hit him a bit more. That's what lowers the defense does. It just makes the enemy just a little more squishier, allowing you to put out more damage. Big 120% start of turn, and much like Janemba's thing across all of them is that they guard all attacks. Now, in particular, he only guards attacks in the first or second slot, which you're going to run him in all the time. However, do try and get him into the last slot as much as you can, because he gets 2 key and 22% attack and defense with each attack performed in the third slot. But if you put him in the third slot, you're going to sacrifice his guard. In the legend, the fighting events, you will be able to put him in slot 3 at the very beginning. You ain't going to die there, or you shouldn't really early on. So you can get a chance to build that in the Super Battle Roads or the Extreme Super Battle Roads, especially for movie bosses, which is really, really tough. You don't have the luxury of doing that. But even still, he is going to really soak up that damage. Offensively, no, forget about it. Now, he has a high chance, so that's a 50% chance, to nullify any Ki Blast super attack at the character. Now, again, when you're running him this on the Legend fighting events, in the end of the phases, that comes in really, really well. Because everyone has either a Kamehameha or the Final Flash. So that's really going to help you out really, really, really big. And of course, get lucky with the flip of the coin. And even in Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road, you're going to completely just go, nope, and stop it all. His Rage mode is nothing more than just Giant Ape form with just a lot of attack power. 66 HP or more starting from the 6th turn. You may see that in the difficult content, but you will see it in the longer events, as I say, those Fighting Legend events. That's where this guy can really come into play. Him, much like Ultimate Gohan, you're not going to be, he's going to be relevant all the way through for a long, long time. Does have big bad bosses, does have shock speed, metamorphosis, and does have legendary power. Right, so the next one we now have is Future Gohan after his EZA. He was tolerable beforehand, but now he really is good. But especially you got to have a Trunks. We'll go into why. So Future Saga is now a flat out 170%. That's really, really good, especially as Future Saga, especially the villain side, has dropped off, and we haven't really seen any new ones for a while. So he greatly raises 50% for one turn. So he now has 158% attack and now defense 158% as you get less. I believe if you're under, so how this works is if you're under 50%, you're going to get the greater the defense boost part. So now he now reduces damage by 30%, and he has an additional damage reduction of 70% every time he comes onto each rotation. So he gets up to 58% damage reduction. Now that's slightly more than last. If you go into his last, it's slightly different. So he just reduced 10% damage at the start of every turn up to 50, rather than having 30 and then every 7. So you only get 8% more, but you actually start off with 30, which is actually pretty good. So one of the best things for him to really make him tanky, to really make him viable, is he only realistically gets defense when you have when there's a person who's called Trunks. So that's realistically what you need. You need a future Trunks in this turn to actually trigger this. So with his attack and defense of 120%, with his 30% damage reduction goes to 58, then you're actually looking good. So again, you're gonna need a future Trunks, but that's fine. When you're running a Future Saga and just a Future Saga, or even a Hybrid Saiyan job, probably going to have someone. Now again, it's got to be in the same turn as well, actually. So again, that's not so bad on these teams. You think Hybrid, Future, Super Saiyans, Android Cell Saga, Bond of Master and Disciple, and Connected Hope, that may actually even be possible. Do you know what actually does count for this guy? Is the two Super Trunkses, the STR and the physical one. they actually trigger that, and they have an easy A not long after this guy did, and they were very, very hype for this, for one of these reasons, for that reason. You'll find him very, very good across multiple of those teams. Now your next one is Guasu and Samasu. So they're very good for new players. That they have a 120% stats for new players. They guarantee to seal, and they do a lot. Now again, defensively and offensively, no, but they do a lot more around it, and a lot more is actually based around extreme class enemies. Straight off the bat, 2 key 70% defense for all allies. Now that is actually very, very similar to another unit I was going to put on here. That was Android 17, the Tournament of Power one. But the reason I didn't put him on is I went for these guys instead. Flat out 70% defense and 2 key. That's very difficult to beat. They have a 50% chance of evading any attack flat out, and they gain 5 key and 100% attack when attacking extreme class enemies. That's where their power comes in. But again, even if they have that, don't expect a lot. But they have a 50-50 chance to dodge and 70% defense with key and seal. Now, as a slot 1 turn 1? Yes. As a floater or slot 2? More likely. You more likely want them in slot 3, even though they can dodge. But you want them in slot 3 just to give your main units a big 70% defense. Think about the caliber of teams that are on Realm of Gods, and you'll find that these two can really support. They do. It doesn't matter they don't give attack. The Realm of Gods alone is really, really good. They're really good on that. So that was pretty simple for them. But now we're going into transforming Freezer Angel. So this guy does an awful lot. And what makes it even more amazing for what this guy does is that straight off the bat, entering any turn 1, you can transform. No one else does that. That makes him really, really good. In long events, you'll want to stick with this guy first before you transform. So he stacks defense and seals super attack, and that's just in his base form. Resurrected Warriors or Overworld Warriors, key 450% of stats. Those two combined make either category really good. On their own, neither category is great. Together, great. You will be running him in the Legend Fighting events where you have to use Resurrected or Overworld. Can't remember which one it is off the top of my head. I think it's Overworld Warriors. So 100% at the start of turn, and he has a 50% attack and defense for 5 turns with a 30% chance of evading enemy attack within the same turn of having an attack. So if you put him in slot 1, and that's realistically where you have to put this guy, is then he will have that bigger attack and defense. Now that really sets him up when he stacks his defense when those 5 turns wear off. Now, of course, in Super Battle Roads, where you'll get the next bit, is attack and defense minus 30% for 2 turns. That's a big one. It's more the attack of 30% less on the attacked enemy for 2 turns, making this guy extremely valuable across the board. Once you've built up a lot of defense, or you need a certain amount of damage reduction and protection, this is where this guy can come into hand. So you can turn into Golden Freezer straight off the bat. So again, now his super attack now massively raises attack. That is a 100% raise to attack. 120% at the start of turn, so that's a 20% increase. So he gets an additional 80% and to stats and a 70% of stunning the attacked enemy when you perform a super attack. That's a 70% chance to stun, and in his base form, he's sealed. Now, also a real kicker. This is where you transform in long events. Is he reduces damage by 50% when you're under 50% health. Now, as I say, that alone is really, really good when you've built it all up. Now, you will find that in the long events, you can't stun the enemy, you can't seal the enemy. So then at that point, it's probably worth transforming. But in Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road, you can transform Well, hey, you've got a 70% chance to stun. Now, again, this guy doesn't have to be in slot 1. He has to be in slot 2 or 3. He gets the big buff in slot 2 or 3 compared to his counterpart. One of the things that's disappointing for this guy, which could have worked out really, really well, is he doesn't have big bad bosses. But his teams are really good. He is probably the MVP of Resurrected Warriors, Otherworld Warriors, and Sworn Enemies outside of the LR. If you don't have him, you can run. You wouldn't run him in Time Limit, but you can run him with Mastered Evolution. But again, you'd be running freezes. The Universal Survival Saga, you'd be running other freezes. And Rep 7 ain't going to get the most out of it. He does have Tournament of Power, which is 3 key, but that's the only thing going for him. Wicked Bloodline, yes. This guy's really good with the Golden Freezer, the Tech Golden Freezer. He works really well there. I suppose you could also, on one hand, you could also say the AGL Golden Freezer, because collectively they can make quite a formidable duo. Now we are into the top 4. So this guy, this is one of the oldest ones going on here, but you'll see why for a lot of new people, and I'll say new people because often enough you'll find him on the red Dragonstone whenever we get gifted those Dragonstones for the various celebrations. You'll find this guy in here. Prior to his EZA, nothing. Now he's really, really good. So 70% for stats. Again, newer players might find that more appreciative. But off the bat, 70% chance to stun the enemy. That's brilliant. And what's more is, compared to the rest of his passive, you don't want to go for crits, maybe a little bit of dodge. You want to go full addition. Imagine having 2 chances of 70% chance to stun. He has 80% and a chance of performing a crit hit when you have 50% or more. So he has a 50% chance to crit over 50%, and he has 80% at start of turn. But when you fall below 50%, it's a guaranteed, nigh on guaranteed 70% chance to crit with 100% to stats. So this guy, full additional, because you'll be critting almost all the time with a 70% chance to stun. Now you'll find that on Movie Heroes. This is the one from the Cooler movie. Movie Heroes, Pure Saiyans, Goku Family, Powerful Comeback, Turtle School, and Super Saiyans. You will find that in these, with his chances to stun, with his chances to crit, is the reason why this guy is in the A tier. Now, 80% of stats or 100% of stats. Not the greatest altogether all around. You'll find that even though this guy has some amount of value defensively, no, don't think about it. But if you can hide him, he will be monumental in any of the difficult content. So now the top 3, and now in no particular order either, but we're now into the final 3. So now we have Piccolo. So Namekians and Worthy Rivals of 170%, 150% is the reason why this guy alone could just be in A tier. Not many have the Namekian or Worthy Rivals across the board. Now he stacks defense in this form. Again, much like the Angel Freezer, you'll want him in this form for a while. 100% at the start of turn, and he recovers a little bit of HP when your HP is under 70%, 77% or less. That's basically it. Oh, but he also foresees enemy super attack. Hey, that's a scouter effect. Turn 1, you can have that. You can instantly see where any super attack is going to be. Now, on the teams that he's on, especially works out in the Namekians, which is a really undeveloped team, but let's be honest, you're probably not going to get a lot out of that. Between the Lord Slugs and the Demon King Piccolos and the Piccolos and the Kamis, you're going to have to do something on the lines of Vidal's caliber just to make the Namekians team really worthwhile. But stacks defense and foresees enemy super attack, well, that alone puts it amongst the highest, best supports, best abilities that you've got. So then he really gets a little bit crazy. So when your HP is 70% or more with other Namekians from the 4th turn, realistically I think you're going to want to run AGL Nail, who also stacks defense, who also appreciates Piccolo. Then you'll turn into fused with Cammy. This is the one where he was fighting 17, I believe. So he now greatly raises attack with a 50% chance of stunning the enemy. He now reduces damage by 40% and has a chance to crit if you have that goes higher if you have more health. And of course, he still sees the enemy super attack. So he has better stats, reduces damage, building crits, stuns. Well, what more do you want? On the teams, amongst the links, gonna be difficult. You will get experienced fighters, you will get shocking speed, and you will get cold judgment fierce battle. But depending on what teams you run on, you might not even get experienced fighters. You ain't going to get Namekians, you ain't going to get Brainiacs, and you ain't going to get Zed fighters all too much. You'll get Namekians if you run Nail, but out of all those teams, where can you run Nail? Not that many. But this guy stacks for the long events, transforms under a certain amount of health if you have above a certain amount of health if you have a certain Namekian, and then look at all this that he does. So now we go into the final free-to-play unit that there is. Now it's unbelievable the fact that this guy was an SR to begin with. Unbelievable that this guy was this. And then they went absolutely crazy last year in the anniversary and gave us this. They actually gave us an Awakening and an EZA. So what you saw prior on his before Awakening, that's actually better than what it was. Now, for new players, he has a 77% to start with Universal Survival Saga, which is reasonable. He stacks attack and defense when he's at SA 14 or higher. So off the bat, he gives all TOP category allies 3 key and attack and defense 30%. That's pretty good. The best thing probably there is the 3 key. A lot of people can do support, attack and defense 120%, and a 50% chance of evading enemy attack. Now you think there are now 3 UI Gokus that you can run in TOP or Rep 7 or Goku Family or Pure Saiyans or Realm of Gods, and all of them have fantastic abilities to dodge. This 50-50, the others more 70%, but they stack. In fact, in many ways, there's actually 4 if you count the int one. But we have 3 UI Gokus off the bat who are all really good. This guy is probably one of the most underrated. I have seen people complete Extreme Super Battle Road Pure Saiyans using a Rep 7 team because they have 3 UI Gokus, all of which you flip the coins and you get lucky. You could almost no item it. It's almost a joke. This guy is one of the best units to come out. I would still say Roshi's better just because he has that stun chance, he has that seal, he has that dodge, he has that turtle school support, he has the revive. But enough on this guy. For the teams that he's on, as I say, you've got TOP, Realm of Gods, Pure Saints, Goku Family, Rep 7, Turtle School. You can run the Turtle School's a Goku team, 3 UI Gokus, and any of these, you are going to be really set. And last but not least, probably most obvious, is the Heart Virus Goku when he fought 19. Now, he has a Turtle School category of 130%. Now, the only other one who's got a Turtle School lead is the free-to-play Roshi. And so because he is free-to-play, could be more valuable. But again, you'll probably find that this guy works better with the Gokus generally on the team. So his super attack is really good, and the fact that he has a greatly raised attack really helps him to build that damage, but he has a 50-50 chance of losing 7%. I'll be honest, I'm glad that's not a great chance. So 100% to start of turn, and the more health you have, it has a big 200%. So how that works is if you're more than 50% HP, you'll get that 200. You fall below, you actually only get 100. So you still get quite a lot if you fall below 50% HP. So he gets 5 key, 59% crit, 59% damage reduction, and a 59% chance to do an additional super attack, all of that for 5 turns from start of turn when he first appears. So let's go over that. 5 key, 59% crit, 59% damage reduction, and a 59% chance of additional super for 5 turns. Anyone who bets will know that 59% is the house odds. So, he now then reduces damage by 59% when HP is 59% or less, which is pretty good itself, but then you have less defense. But to be fair, you still have almost 200%. You just lose 100% to get to that other 200 threshold. And of course, you would gain 59% defense from the 6th turn. So you lose a lot after 5 turns. You lose the 5 key, you lose the crit chance, you lose some damage reduction, and you lose the additional super attacker chance. But you still gain a little bit of defense. You would still have a little bit of the original of this 200, and that alone still makes this guy really, really good. So he is stupidly strong in Pure Saiyans, Goku Family, Super Saiyans, Android Cell Saga, Turtles, in fact all of them. All of them. He is just so strong. The house odds to crit, that he will just reduce damage. The house odds to do additional super for 5 turns. Most Super Battle Road events can go around 6 or 7 turns. So for the majority of the time you will see this. Past that, just be a little bit careful. He can be on a little squishy side. But slot 1, turn 1, not a problem. Type disadvantage supers, not realistically a problem, especially if you have support. Where you might get caught out is if you flip the coin for your HP loss, and it's only 7%. But let's say you take damage, and this guy will take around 100k in Super Battle Road slot 1, turn 1. Now that's with damage reduction, and that's actually really, really good. Now rainbow units might get that to under 100k, and this is without support. So you factor in, you get around 100k, and then 7% of your own HP gets lost, and then you do additional super, and that's 14% loss. You can get caught out, but make no mistake, this guy is, at least for 5 turns, unstoppable. And that is how we have the top 20 most helpful physical units going on Dokkan Battle. I really want to get these all done before the 7th anniversary, because that will change. Last but not least, is the Int. Right, I hope you found this video entertaining at the very least. Otherwise, I really hope you found it useful. Until next time, bye bye.